get to the Raw rundown because that's why you guys tuned in. You don't want to hear from us. You want to hear about what's going on so you know everything that's going on in pop culture before the weekend begins. Dax, start me off with number 10.
Oh, Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster's relationship is now 100% being said that it was a cheating startup, and that the reason he divorced Deborah Lee Furness is because of his relationship with Sutton. This was the rumor that had been going around for a while. It sounded like, most people were kind of alluding to this, like, hey, you both were married and then you both got divorces and you both got together with each other and didn't, said, oh, no, we just happened to fall in love after we were both separated. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. This story actually was broke by Tasha Lustig, who was our guest this week. Coincidentally enough, Tasha is big on TikTok. Well, here's the deal. She went on her Instagram account and said, this was her quote. She said, do you all remember when I told you this man was up to no good? And said that his wife was blindsided when he ran off with his mistress during their Broadway show. And guess who liked it? Deborah Lee Furness on her burner account liked the comments. And
first of all, how do we know it was her burner account?
Apparently because people that know her privately, it's her private account. And they saw her like the post. And then there's also someone who is really close to her. Her name is Amanda Cadnett. Wrote, you are on point with this one. My beloved friend Deb is about to have her glow up any moment, FYI. And that right there completely confirmed the whole cheating allegations and rumors that have been going around for a while. If Deborah Lee is liking that post saying, yes, he cheated on me, and now the world's going to find out, I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just want to know who I think he's been waiting to talk about it or speak his truth. When
he doesn't want to be called a cheater, though.
No, he doesn't. But, not taking anything away from Tasha, who was our guest this past week on Wednesday's episode. For the past 6 months, a lot of outlets heard about the speculations regarding this relationship. The surprising part is how has nobody not seen them at a dinner and put a cell phone footage. I'm just surprised by the people alone just letting Hugh Jackman go walk around, getting dinner, walk around New York City, how they're able to stay so discreet regarding the relationship. Like, again, they don't ever go to a restaurant. I'm surprised that reporters aren't sending, and I said this the other day, I'm surprised that reporters or outlets aren't sending photographers to stay on Hugh Jackman and just wait to get that one photo to make this sort of, because it is a big shot, because I think a lot of people there's speculation because, again, going back to even tougher rumors about Hugh Jackman, there's always rumors that he was gay. So I think people just like, maybe this one proves that he's not gay. I mean, if we have that, see them together. But yeah, very interesting, very demure.
Very demure.
We're still using it. Is that word out yet?
I mean, it makes me laugh every time. But yeah, I think this is not good for Hugh. Hugh, no. I feel like has a really good reputation in Hollywood. I think he's genuinely a very nice guy. And I think Sutton also has a reputation of being very, very nice. And I think this is not a good look for either one of them, that they are now being caught up in cheating allegations. And when you have the ex basically confirming it, that's pretty bad.
You know what I just realized, Dax? I have to go to an event today, and he might be there.
Ooh, you should definitely ask him. What do you think about your ex-wife liking a post that basically outs you as a cheater?
Hey, Hugh, we're live on the Hollywood Raw podcast. Us Weekly has you on the cover this week about your relationship with Sutton Foster. Any word or comment on that? Our listeners are waiting as we...
Also, big question. Are you gay?
Are you gay, man? Are you gay? Yeah, but not good. Hugh Jackman is such a, people love him. He's a very charming guy, and this definitely sets him back. He doesn't want to have this kind of title with him. And I think there also should be some clarification, too. I think Deborah's going to have her side. Maybe they were separated at a time when the relationship started. Did he have an affair? I don't think we know. But I don't know. This is just speculation at this point. But again, this is the first time that a major outlet has really kind of came forward saying, hey, these two are having an affair. Dax, the number 9 story.
Ray J claiming he was shot at by someone who tried to kill him. This is coming 2 weeks after he had a pretty heated exchange with 3 of Diddy's sons, who seems like there's definitely some beef between them. But basically, he shared this video on social media where he's talking about, he said, I'm about to read this like a super white guy. He said, N-words just tried to shoot me. They tried to kill me. If you want to apologize to me, N-word, F you. He said that in a recording. He uploaded it to his stories, but I think he is really trying to put out there that I'm assuming he's trying to indicate that this might come from Diddy's people, because Ray J must know a lot. I just saw that he did like a whole show with TMZ. Did you see this where he's talking about their freak offs? It's like one of those TMZ presents ones.
Yeah.
And saying that he was contacted by multiple celebs who are scared about their affiliation with Diddy, and that they're like basically talking to their alleged victims, and the lawyer is asking them to pay him money to keep them quiet and keep their names out of all of the lawsuits. So I don't know. I think that he is getting himself deep into the other side of the Diddy world, and it's probably a dangerous place to be. Diddy is still a very powerful person, has a lot of money, even though he's behind bars and we're all seeing his downfall. I think he's still got a lot of contacts.
Dax, is Ray J a source that you believe? I mean, he's been around the game for a long time. I'm sure he has a lot of stories, knows some stuff about people. But Ray J, to me, does have a little bit of...
he's opportunistic, I will say that.
For sure.
I think he takes a moment to get press, which he has done very well over the years. With a situation like this, I think he's got details. And I think he's like, let me use these details to get my name in the headlines, is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, and we both know this because we're part of it. Diddy brings in traffic. If you post Diddy content on your social media, people are just very curious. They're, obviously there's a lot of the rumors about, there's other, and again, there's some other stories that we're going to get involved with. Actually, why don't you talk about the second part of this story regarding Ray J, with another part of his claim?
I did. Are you talking about the freak offs? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like he's saying that celebrities say that celebrities are apparently paying off victims. And the thing is, I think Ray J is a guy who knew some women, and he knows women who he heard stories through them. So was he actually invited to the story? I don't know. Was there a police report regarding the shootings with Ray J? I don't know. I do have a great Ray J story. One day I get a call from Ray J's manager that he is really pissed off because he did a morning show and he thought the morning show host was kind of treating him very disrespectfully, and he got really pissed off. So I said, hey, he wants to be shot right now. Come. And this was 9:30 in the morning. So we went to 9:30 in the morning. They said, meet us at Sarah Best in New York City. And I go there, and it's an all, like, I'm going to be, this might sound racial. It's not. It's an old, very old white person place. It's right on Central Park South, very kind of Upper East Side, prestigious type thing. And Ray J is in there with his manager. So they sort of stand out. The reason because it's just all old white people. But Ray J's so fired up the way that this morning host treated him. He's like, yeah, I need to calm down. Let's start doing some shots. You're going to do shots with me. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like 9:30 in the morning. So me and Ray J are taking shots of, I think we're taking shots of vodka too, which is so bizarre. We're taking shots. It was definitely vodka. We're taking shots of vodka early in the morning at Sarah Best because he wanted to calm down because he was so amped up and he wanted to talk about how he felt he was disrespected by this morning show host. But interviewed him after. When I say shots, we took maybe like 3 shots or so. But that was my.
Well, who is the host? Because clearly he talked about it.
It was this guy. He was a local. It was on Good Day New York. He's a local host. He's no longer the host of the show. So it's more local. Big show actually in New York, but it's more of a local guy.
So see, that's why I think like Ray J doesn't seem to be the one with the filter. So he's like, oh, someone pissed me off, I'm going to talk about it. So I think that's kind of Ray J's MO, is like, I'm going to get some press off of this. He doesn't hide away from the controversy. I did find it weird, though, that this like Tony Busby, that attorney who is representing a lot of the victims, he also appeared in that documentary, and he said that he sent out demand letters to a lot of these high profile people with an ultimatum: pay up or face a lawsuit. That seems like blackmail, doesn't it? Like, I mean, I don't know the law like this guy clearly does. He's a lawyer, so I'm assuming there's some legal way to do it, but it just seemed like pay up or I'm going to put you in a lawsuit. Like, I don't know. There's seems weird.
This guy seems very opportunist as well. So I don't know. But Ray J has been very vocal about this, speaking up because he's the man of the people at the moment. So, but he's also getting shot at too, which again, weirdly enough, there's no police report. And someone's so calm saying
he's not calling the police after that. Then he's just a snitch.
Yeah. What a world, huh? What a world. Yeah. We don't have to worry about that stuff outside of Crunch Gym in Orange County. Dax number 8.
Earlier this week, there was a former Gossip Girl actress who went missing. Her name is Chanel Maya Banks. They have found her. She was found safe and uninjured. There was a whole missing persons report that was put out earlier this week. She's also been in shows like Blue Blood, a couple other things. Not a massive actress, but very pretty girl. You might recognize her face if you were a Gossip Girl aficionado. But apparently law enforcement sources have now been saying that she was found. She doesn't have any injuries. No foul play is suspected. I remember I saw this story pop up on the news saying that she was missing, and literally the chyron on the show said, husband's not being very helpful. And I'm like, oh, well, there we go. She's going to end up dead, and the husband did it. And nope, it seems like all is good. I don't know where she went. They conducted a welfare check at the apartment with her husband that she shares with her husband. They found all of her belongings as well as her dog earlier in the week. And then, she just had disappeared. So I'm assuming we will find out more details of why she left, what happened, and, like what went down. Because for someone to just disappear and then like her family was coming in from out of town to help search for her. So clearly she went off the radar.
Yeah, very scary, very weird. Happy that she's found and safe. And I mean, it appears no harm, but I guess we're going to figure out the latest of what exactly went down. Because again, very scary situation. Could have went really bad. I'm sure the husband's got to be freaking out thinking people are going to think I'm speculative of me.
Well, yeah, when you're not helpful, if you're not helpful, especially if the news chyron says, missing, actress, husband's not being very helpful. Immediately, I'm like, they literally just painted him as a murderer. Like,
sure,
I would almost be super annoyed and be like, what are you guys doing? You're going to get me in trouble here.
What is being helpful? What do they expect him to do? Like, hey, come out with some light and a dog. Like, dude, no, I'm not going to do that. I got to so it's also, what does that mean being helpful too? Yeah, I have to wonder. Dax number 7.
John Mayer bought a super iconic location in Hollywood the other day. And if you've ever been out to LA and you drive around kind of like the Sunset area, there is the Muppet Studio lot. And apparently him and the Charlie's Angels director, McG, just purchased it for $60 million. And again, this is a very iconic location. The lot once belonged to Charlie Chaplin, and then it was held by A&M Records before it was acquired by the Hanson firm in 1999, who bought it for like $12 million. So this is a pretty big chunk of change for them to make, $60 million. It does not say what he plans on doing with this lot, but they've filmed so many different TV shows there over the years. I mean, when you drive by, it's got this big like statue of Kermit on the top. It's a very cool location right in the middle of Hollywood. But I'm just curious, like, what the hell is John Mayer going to do with a studio?
I don't know, but I think John
studio.
No, but John Mayer also has a lot of money. It is very cool, and I think it's historic. But I also think it was a way for them to protect it because there is rumors speculating that the Church of Scientology was trying to eye the property. So I think they thought it was cool to kind of get it before they had a chance to. So maybe
were they going to turn it into like a church location kind of thing?
Possibly. But there are some rumors saying that they were checking out the property, the Church of Scientology. So I think for them, it's just part of Hollywood history, and they would like to have it so no one else could kind of go there. I can see John Mayer turning that area into like a studio, like a really cool studio for artists to kind of rehearse or just trying to work on new music.
Maybe I was gonna say if you turn that into a music, like a bunch of studios, that could be a big deal. I could see a lot of people showing up there wanting to record music. You got John Mayer a part of it, so it kind of gives it that credibility right there.
Sure, I think it's a really cool thing that he did that. I think maybe it's a way of him just kind of protecting the Hollywood history, so it didn't go into bad hands. And I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
If you bought this, would a part of the sale be like, the Kermit has to stay? Like, I don't want you guys to remove it because it's not my IP. Like, let me keep the Kermit up.
I would say so. I mean, if I bought the property, I would keep it up. If I sold it, 100%. I would say it's got to stay up. So it's part of the charm.
Like, don't take it. Cool. Don't take it when you go to move. Like, leave the Kermit. That would be part of my
100%. You have to leave that when you leave the property. So I totally agree. Great real estate, but also just a very cool thing. Have you ever been there, by the way? Have you?
I've driven by it a gazillion times. Like,
where is it exactly on Sunset? If you don't,
so it's not on Sunset itself, but when you're driving down, I think it's down Sunset. I would pass it. What was it, like Vine? No, not Vine. I don't remember the cross streets. But anyway, I would pass it. La Brea. That's what it was. You would drive down Sunset, and it's on La Brea, and you could like look and see it. And I would see the Kermit every day when I was coming home from TMZ.
See, I feel like something like that is like one of those things. It's just really cool to see. You know, as a driver, as a commuter, like it gives you like that, like you're in Hollywood, and you just like. There's something very cool and historic about something like that. The history behind it, just seeing the Muppets, Jim Henson, to me, like that's so cool. I don't know. I think that's so cool. So cool for John Mayer to purchase it. Curious what he does with the property. Dax, number 6.
This is some heartbreaking stories. Dave Coulier from Full House has revealed that he has stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Non-Hodgkin, like if you... I had to look this up yesterday because I couldn't remember if the Hodgkin's lymphoma or the non-Hodgkin's was the bad one. Non-Hodgkin's is the bad one. That one is the one that a lot of people pass away from. But it seems that he had got some good news, and he is going to be fighting this super hard. But he said back in October he was diagnosed after an upper respiratory infection caused major swelling in his lymph nodes, and the swelling increased so rapidly in one area, growing to the size of a golf ball, that his doctor was like, okay, we need to get a PET scan, we need to get a CT scan, as well as a biopsy, and then ultimately gave him the news that changed his life. So he did a whole exclusive with People magazine where he said, 3 days later, my doctor called me back and said, we wish we had better news for you, but you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's called B cell, and it's very aggressive. He said that he went from, I got a little bit of a head cold to I have cancer, and it was pretty overwhelming. He said that this has been a really fast roller coaster ride of a journey. He said that with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, white blood cells grow abnormally, causing tumors to grow throughout the body. And swollen lymph nodes are a symptom. And I guess B-cell lymphoma, which is the type he has, is very rare, and it can attack the skin. He did say that he's going to fight this head on, and that he did, however, get some good news. He said that with it didn't go into the bone marrow. Like the bone marrow test came back negative. So at that point, his chances from curable went from something low to like a 90% range. So that is really what's keeping him going. He's like, all right, I've got at least good news within all of this bad news.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like he went on the Today Show and sort of made the announcement. Do you feel like he could have done this privately, or feel like he had to make this public? And not saying there's anything wrong with it, too.
He said he is doing this as a very public journey. He started up a podcast. He shaved his head. He's doing this because there's a lot of people out there that don't know to go get themselves checked. And he goes, I want this to be one of those moments where if I can help one other person out there, then it was all worth it. And I felt the same way when I had my melanoma. It was like, people don't know. Like, check your skin, check your body, like be your health advocate. And that's what you feel like. If I could save one person's life, then it was worth doing a podcast or worth talking about it publicly.
Yeah. John Stamos put out a message. I guess he wrote in his caption for Dave Coulier, said, my brother from day one, love you, Dave Coulier, and I'll be by your side through it all. It's really nice to see how close the Full House cast is with each other. Mm-hmm. It seems like they haven't like distanced themselves from each other, except for the Olsen twins. I don't think there's really much of a relationship with them there. I mean, there's obviously that bond, but I don't think they speak as with the rest of the cast as some of the others do. Yeah. I don't think they're in the group text. And Dave said that he told the other members of the cast of Full House through a group text they had. So seems like he's in good spirits. I'm actually friends with him on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Are you?
No.
No.
It's
I
so
got like
random.
weird friends on LinkedIn.
I don't feel
one
like
of the Baldwins.
LinkedIn people are friends though. Like I'm like,
Yeah, we're not friends. I never met the guy, but somehow I think he added me on LinkedIn, and I may be friends with him. I don't know if I added him or he added me, but this has been like years. I'm friends with like one of the Baldwin brothers on LinkedIn, and I don't know how that. Like, should I ask him to come on the podcast on LinkedIn? I don't know how that works. Like, are we friends? Am I invited to like? Hey, we're LinkedIn friends. I remember saying to one, I think it's Stephen Baldwin. I said, "Hey, Stephen, we're friends on LinkedIn." He's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Dude, you added me, buddy. Like, what is going on here? I didn't add you. It's just." I don't know.
That's
it's sort of
funny.
weird. Dax, number 5.
Michael Strahan breaking his silence after, if you were watching earlier this week, he is just getting dragged over the coals for not covering his heart during a national anthem ceremony. And so he was at a naval base in San Diego. This was on Veterans Day, and they played the Star Spangled Banner, and everyone else was covering their heart, and Michael was standing there with his hands by his waist, and people just started dragging him, criticizing him. And he finally said, look, this is not something that I normally would speak up about, but he's like, the coverage has really spilled over that I need to address it. He said, look, he admitted in his social media posts that he was not protesting anything, that he was caught up in a moment before realizing he hadn't placed his hands on his chest. And he said, look, I'm not. There was nothing wrong. He is a very proud of his country. He supports the military. He grew up in a military family. He has always fought for the rights of military veterans, and he just didn't cover his heart in this moment. And now he had to make a statement about it. I mean, I could see where he's coming from, because I know the dude loves his country. He's never been caught saying a bad word about the country. He said, look, what else he said? I've always loved military, and I will always love military. I do so many programs to help veterans and soldiers. I grew up in a military base with a father who was a major in the Army. My brother, my sister, my cousins, they've all served. I'm a military brat. I have nothing to protest. I have no statements to be made.
I mean, I'm not really a Michael Strahan guy. First off, and I say that because, like, personal experiences, I remember before he got live with Kelly, he used to be super cool. We actually see him almost like Friday night at this restaurant called Abe and Arthur's that's no longer there on 14th Street. He was always fun, cool, and nice. And then he got live with Kelly, and his just nose got a little higher and just became too cool for everything. And just not really a nice guy, not really that warm. And that's just me personally speaking. With that said, I could put that to the side and see this situation for what it is. And I get it. I kind of get his side. I can understand, like, in the moment, not putting your hand over your heart.
Can I ask you
got caught off, that's it. So
can you ask you a dumb question?
Yeah.
Is it disrespectful to not have your hand on your heart? Like, I know if someone leaves their hat on, that's disrespectful. But to stand there and be looking at the flag, isn't that, like, aren't you showing respect that way? Or if you're not covering your heart, that's disrespectful? Because I feel that I've stood there, like, looking at the flag, being in the moment, but maybe I didn't cover my heart. Was I being disrespectful?
Yeah, again, it depends on the person. Some military people could find disrespectful. I think they'd find it more disrespectful if you didn't take off your hat. I know for you're weird about it. You like to take off your pants during the national anthem. So you're like a really weirdo.
Such an idiot.
So I get his side. He got really pissed off when it's funny because they say, like, a Daily Mail journalist shows up at his house. It wasn't a Daily Mail journalist. This is a paparazzi that is just looking for content and went to his house, tried to get Strahan on video. He got pissed off. And once there's cameras at his house, that's when he kind of made the video saying, hey, I shouldn't have got a little physical with the camera guy. And it's not like he got really abusive with the camera guy. He kind of, like, pushed his camera down, like, dude, not at my house. Like, get away from my house. And I understand that. Because that's, like, your safe spot, and there's no place safe. With that said, yeah, I mean, he addressed it. I wasn't offended by it, but other people could have. But I also think people like to kind of.
I would have been offended if he would have turned around. I would have been offended if he looked like he wasn't paying attention. I would have been offended if he was talking during it. that's where I'm like, is it just because all the other hosts were covering the heart and he was the only one that wasn't? But if there was one other person that had their hands down and they were still paying attention, would he not have as much attention? I don't know. I guess I didn't see the overwhelming craziness. He was paying attention. He was looking like he was respecting the flag. So I don't know.
Yeah. It depends on the person, but also I think people also are looking for an excuse to kind of raise some controversy. And when the four guys are doing it and Michael's not, then I can see people saying like, oh, is he protesting? Is this his stance? So, I could also understand their side as well, saying maybe he's trying to make a political statement, especially right after the election, obviously the election. So I get their side as well. So just a weird thing. He kind of addressed it. Now we move on. So back to disliking Michael Strahan personally. Next, number 4.
Jessica Simpson sparking a whole lot of divorce rumors after she posted a very cryptic thing on social media. There's been a lot of talk whether or not her and her husband Eric are doing well. I don't know. There's just been a lot of talk over the last few months. And while she shared this photo of herself, and she's definitely I would say a thirst trap type photo, and she captioned it, "This comeback is personal. It's an apology to myself for putting up with everything I did not deserve." And everyone was like, what? What does that mean, Miss Jessica Simpson? Are you divorcing your husband? And so if you read through all of the comments, everyone was speculating that she was going through a divorce. But here's the thing. TMZ did a story that said a friend and associate contacted 2 divorce lawyers recently in LA, basically saying that Jessica is not happy in her marriage and that she is looking for an attorney. But neither of those 2 lawyers, there was any follow through from Jessica. She never hit up either one of them. So I don't know what's happening. I mean, I would say there's a little smoke here, but no divorce papers have been filed at this point.
Ashley Simpson was asked, she was going to a restaurant with her husband, Evan Ross, and they were asked about Jessica getting divorced. And she kind of said, no, there's no truth to those rumors.
They said, did you hear?
Did you hear?
And so she said no. But then the question is, did you hear about the divorce rumor? Are they true or not? And so her answer doesn't give us any, did she say, no, I haven't heard the rumors, or no, there's no truth to it, or... So no one really knows what her answer meant.
Yeah, there was her husband was shot the other day as well without his wedding ring. But again, it could be the circumstance where he was going. Maybe he's just not wearing it. So I guess people are wondering where it is. Jessica Simpson, I don't know where she lives, and I know probably other people know where she lives, but she's very good at getting in the news, then getting out when she wants to be out. And it's crazy that she's able to live that sort of life. You don't see those photos of her at a Benihana in her area. There's just... it's very unique that she's able to kind of live that life.
Did I ever tell you about the dream I had where I was best friends with Nick and Jessica?
No, that's kind of fun.
It was...
Were you drinking Miller Lights? What were we doing?
This was back when Newlyweds was on the air. And I had this dream that I was great friends with them, that we were going out to have dinner together in Calabasas, this great dinner. We were the greatest of friends. And I woke up and I would remember being so pissed because I felt it in my heart. I was friends with them, Adam. We were best friends. And then I woke up and they didn't know who I was again. And I was sad. And it was my moment. I was good friends with them.
That's pretty cool. I mean, listen, I feel like during that time, they might have been good friends to have, but they're also Nick was the guy's guy and she was sort of fun to be around. So I think you had a dream about good people.
Do you ever have dreams about celebs? Because we are so deeply inside of the Hollywood stuff that we're always talking about celebs. Do you have celebrity dreams?
I did last night, and I can't remember all the parts. And it's so weird that you bring this up. But last night, I had a dream that I was sort of friends with an EDM DJ. I don't remember which one, but it was a DJ, but he's very big, and we were hanging out backstage and going just hanging out backstage. But I don't remember who the DJ was. But I remember we were just looking at weird people in the crowd, and it was just so me and some of the people who worked on the set for the DJ were just looking into the crowd and seeing people doing weird things like a guy like crowd surfing with an erection, and then all of a sudden like, what the fuck is that? And then we saw like a woman in the crowd dancing but breastfeeding, and we're like, what is going on? And Dex, I'm not even joking. This was like, I woke up not feeling comfortable. I was like, what? I don't feel good, and it's just really bad.
I had a dream that I picked up Kim Kardashian, who was hitchhiking down the freeway, like as we were driving to Arizona. There was someone like standing. I was like, "Oh wow, who's the pretty lady like just hitchhiking in the middle of the freeway on the way to Arizona?" And it was Kim Kardashian.
Oh, it's so funny. You know what's so great, Dax? One day, do you know who Ryan Serhant is from $1 Million Listing on Bravo? So one day I'm driving New York, and he's big, and I saw him. I was in the city driving through the city, and it's pouring rain, and I see his hand up, and he's trying to get a taxi, and I sort of know, like, he knows my face. He doesn't know my name, but we see each other, we kind of talk, and he sees me, I'm like, Ryan. He's like, hey, and I could have easily picked him up in the pouring rain, and I didn't. And I always feel like a dick, because it would have been a great time to like network with the guy, because like, hey, I just put him in my car and I'm like, hey, where you going? I'll give you a ride real quick. But I was also like not like mentally prepared to pick him up. So like he waved to me, I waved to him, but he was waiting for a taxi in the rain, and I probably should have helped out. But that just goes on to your thing.
All right, moving on. I don't need this guy to pick me up.
Yeah,
this sounds like every bad movie, every horror movie starts like this.
Yeah, with all due respect, sir, you drive a Honda Accord 2000. Yeah, I'm not really up to my part. All right, Dax, number 3.
All right, a lot of people very conflicted over John Krasinski winning Sexiest Man Alive for 2024 People's Magazine. I said it in our private Facebook group off the record. I said I did not have him on my bingo card. I did not have him on my backup bingo card. I don't think a lot of people thought that he would get Sexiest Man Alive. What are your thoughts, Adam?
I mean, he's a good-looking enough guy to kind of be on the cover, and that's where
you would give him. You would give him Sexiest Man Alive over Ryan Gosling.
Well, the thing is, Ryan Gosling wouldn't do it. So I don't think Ryan Gosling, because it's beneath him at this point. Ryan Gosling is a movie star. John Krasinski isn't a movie star. You know, it's like Brad Pitt. Would Brad Pitt all of a sudden go on the cover of People and say Sexiest Man Alive? No, it's beneath him.
Hasn't Brad Pitt been Sexiest Man Alive?
Yeah, but at this point, I think it's beneath Brad Pitt. At this point, it's beneath Ryan Gosling. And I think when you do stuff like that,
I think this is something that these big stars love. You know, Brad Pitt has been Sexiest Man Alive, it looks like a couple times on People magazine.
But I think at this point in his career, it's almost beneath him. It's like, would you think Leonardo DiCaprio would go on as Sexiest Man Alive and do the cover?
I think so. Clooney has done it. Harrison Ford has done it. Brad Pitt, Hugh Jackman, they've all done it.
They've all done it, but it was at a certain point in their career. But now they're almost like, they're not just famous, they're infamous. And I think Ryan Gosling is in that. I think this would
be such a good thing for Ryan Gosling. I disagree with you. I
don't think he needs it.
I think these big stars are willing to push aside their ego to do this one because it then makes their ego bigger.
I mean, last year, what was it, Patrick Dempsey, Dex? So let's be real. Patrick Dempsey, I think for John Krasinski, he's at the point in his career where it could be useful for him. I think John Krasinski would love to be looked at as almost like a Ryan Reynolds type thing, or and he's not in his career. If Brad Pitt, it's like, hey, if you want to put me on the list, sure, put me on the list, but I'm not going to a photo shoot for it. I'd rather go to a photo shoot for Vanity Fair, for Vogue, but not for People magazine, because let's be real, Dax, nobody reads People magazine. Nobody reads magazines, but does People actually still get some readers? Because doctors' offices.
This episode, this issue every year always gets a ton of attention. But I thought it was just funny reading everyone's comments under this is like, what? Yeah, everyone's just like, what is happening? And then a lot of people come into his defense and say, no, he's funny, he's talented. Like, I would absolutely give it to him. So it's very polarizing, the option.
Yeah, I think he is funny. I think he is talented. I do think there is some charm to him. I'm surprised maybe it's not like more of a comedian-ish type person. Yeah. But I think it's a solid name. So, but again, I do not care. It's, again, this is just an episode. This is just an issue to bring people to buy the magazine, because it's just so stupid. It's just what they always do. Dax, number 2.
Elon Musk responding to Chloe Feynman's crying story that she claims that happened on SNL set. She said basically there was one person who came in that was a host, and the person hated my skit so much, made me feel like shit. I actually started crying. Well, Elon, and then she revealed that it was Elon Musk. Well, he is now speaking out about it, saying, look, I went in, I was so worried that my episode would be unfunny, that it would make a crackhead sober, that he was basically going over every single skit with a fine-tuned comb because he wanted to be funny. And it ended up being a good episode. It got a lot of like praise, but I think it was really messing with his head at the time because there was so much pressure on him to make a funny episode of the show that maybe he wasn't being his best or nicest to every single person in there.
I think Elon Musk is a very intelligent guy, but he's also socially awkward. So there was a lot of, he's not, he's not, that's not his skill. His skill is not communication to a certain extent. And I think that there was a lot of pressure on him for hosting SNL because he wanted to do well. That's not his forte. He wants to do something he thinks is funny because it goes back to him, even though he is dealing with professional comedians. So for him to make someone cry, I don't know if Chloe needs thicker skin because
which is surprising because I feel like in that place you probably get a lot of criticism for writing a skit. If someone doesn't think it's funny, they're gonna say it to your face, like, nope, this is not good, rip up the script and move on. So I was kind of surprised that it would rub her such a wrong way, but maybe she just didn't expect it from him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you also have to realize, like, again, he has communication issues. I mean, actually in that episode when he did the monologue, he said, I think he's dyslexic a little bit. Not saying so. He does have a little bit of, I wouldn't say some weaknesses, I guess you could say. And I think communication is one, which he's been open about. So,
by the way, can I bring up another story that's super random? Did you see this Sydney Sweeney story?
What was this?
That's going around Sydney? So she is basically saying that, Hollywood is all about like women empowering other women. She goes, it's fucking fake. All of it's fake. None of it's happening, which is crazy. So she did an interview with Vanity Fair, and she basically, this is on the heels of that Carol Baum story where the woman had basically said that anyone but you was unwatchable, that Sydney is not pretty, she can't act. Well, she's finally like commenting on it. She goes, it's very disheartening to see women tear other women down, especially when women who are successful in other avenues of their industry see younger talent working really hard, hoping to achieve whatever dreams they have, and then trying to bash and discredit any of the work they've done. She's like, this entire industry, all people say women empowering other women. None of it is happening. All of it is fake and a front for other shit that they say behind everyone's back. She goes, I mean, there's so many studies and different opinions on the reasoning behind it. I've read read that our entire lives we were raised as a generational problem. And she just goes on just bashing the Hollywood system and saying, it's just, it basically, you say it for clout, but it doesn't actually happen in real life. I'm like, ooh, damn.
Ooh, I like Sydney Sweeney, man. I like her because she just understands the game. She works it. She has fun. She doesn't back down. And I think she's also a really good actress. I think she was great on SNL.
That movie was not good, though.
No, it's not. But
it was not good.
It wasn't a good movie, but I wasn't expecting it to be an Oscar-worthy movie either. So, and that's not necessarily her fault because she's just an actress. She's just playing a part. But she's also a girl who's fighting for parts and working the scene and working the industry. But she also gets it, and I respect her. I like her. Very tough comments for her to address, and she I don't disagree with her either. So, I kind of like it. Back to Chloe Fineman and SNL and Elon Musk. It's interesting that Chloe brings it up during the election time when Elon Musk is doing a lot with the Trump stuff. So it's like, if she would have said this maybe weeks back or weeks later, it'd been more, but now this seems more of like an opportunity rather than trying to make a statement. So Dax, the number one story of the week.
Number one story of the week, Megan Fox pregnant, expecting a baby with Machine Gun Kelly, which was so funny because I feel like I hadn't heard anything for a while with them. And there was a lot of breakup rumors going around for a while. Then they just kind of disappeared from the news for a little bit. Well, apparently they are doing just fine because she is pregnant. She released a bunch of the information on her Instagram page, posting a photo of her naked, covered in black paint, kneeling on the ground. And then the second image in there was the pregnancy test showing that it was positive. And so, yeah, this will be her fourth child. She's got 3 with Brian Austin Green. This will be her fourth child. And then I know Machine Gun Kelly also has a daughter from a previous relationship. So this will be his second one. I believe that's accurate number for him. But yeah, they're together, going strong, and going to be expecting a baby.
Congratulations. I don't know if this was planned or unexpected, but always very exciting.
I'm going to say my guess is planned because they were very public about a failed pregnancy or a miscarriage earlier, and she was pretty heartbroken over it. And so she had alluded to that, saying that, there's always a second chance. So my guess, it was a planned pregnancy.
Yeah, I do want to say about one last story, just adding in. I don't know if this is going to be on the list, but it just broke. I don't know if this would even make the top 10, but just want to make the Today Show has announced a replacement for Hoda Kotb. Hoda announced that she's going to be leaving the show. They're going to have Craig Melvin as a replacement. Ooh. So Craig Melvin, he's the guy, you've seen him. He's already a host on the Today Show, and I guess they're going to bump him up and give him a little bit more work. He's going to host the show with Savannah. Craig is good. The Today Show hosts are very vanilla. And when I mean vanilla, it's not in a bad way. Actually, he's chocolate. He's black. But anyway, they're very they make the show's not about them. It's about whoever's on the show or the news story. So, and he does a good job of staying out of the news and making the show the star of it. He's good. He's good at his show. So he's going to be replacing Hoda come January. So, all right, that is our Raw rundown with the top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on Red Coral Universe, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. Follow our TikTok, Instagram, private Facebook group called Off the Record. We have a private Facebook group called Off the Record. You guys should be in it. It's a really fun community. Follow me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from. Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.